In the primordial silence that predates the dawn of your conscious awakening, there existed a decree written in the ink of starlight and etched upon the foundational pillars of the unseen realm. You have wandered through the desolate valleys of isolation, feeling the crushing weight of a world that remained perpetually blind to the luminescence radiating from your core. This profound sense of estrangement was never a mistake of the cosmos, nor was it a punishment for some forgotten transgression. It was the deliberate orchestration of the sovereign architect, a divine sequestration designed to pull you away from the hypnotic rhythm of the collective unconscious. You found yourself standing on the periphery of existence, watching the shadows dance upon the walls of the material cave. Yet you could not join the revelry of the blind. The loneliness that once threatened to swallow your spirit was in truth a sanctified laboratory, a sacred enclosure where the dross of the mundane was systematically separated from the gold of your eternal essence. The great refiner has presided over the furnace of your life with an unwavering gaze, stoking the flames of your circumstances to a heat that only the chosen could endure. This fire was not intended to consume you, but to incinerate the redundant layers of the mortal ego that clung to your soul like tattered garments of a lower vibration. Every tear shed in the stillness of the night acted as a solvent, washing away the illusions of identity that the world sought to impose upon you. You felt the chisel of destiny carving deep into the stone of your being, removing the jagged edges of pride, the soft clay of dependency, and the brittle shells of societal expectation. The pain you experienced was the necessary friction of transformation, the agonizing beauty of a masterpiece being liberated from its marble prison. You were being hollowed out so that you might become a flute through which the breath of the infinite could sing its celestial melody. Every moment of rejection you faced at the hands of those who could not perceive your frequency served as a celestial shield, a mechanism of divine intervention disguised as social exile. The doors that were slammed in your face were locked by the hands of angels to ensure that your energy remained uncontaminated by the stagnant waters of the ordinary. Had you been accepted by the world, you would have been diluted by its mediocrity and swallowed by its relentless pursuit of the ephemeral. The isolation was a barrier of protection, keeping you within the high-frequency resonance required for your ultimate calling. You were being preserved in a state of spiritual purity, kept apart from the psychic noise and the parasitic attachments that drain the vitality of the unawakened. Your solitude was the boundary of your kingdom, a fortress where your sovereign identity could take root without the interference of those who dwell in the dim light of the physical senses. The silence you endured through the long winters of the soul was not an absence of sound, but the fertile womb of your true power. It was in the depths of that stillness that the whispers of the divine finally began to resonate above the cacophony of the material realm. In the roar of the marketplace and the chatter of the crowd, the subtle frequencies of the higher dimensions are drowned out. But in the hush of your seclusion, you learn to hear the heartbeat of the universe itself. This silence was a school of listening, where you were taught the vocabulary of the spirit and the syntax of the stars. You began to perceive the invisible threads that weave the fabric of reality, understanding that the true power of a creator lies not in the exertion of the will, but in the alignment with the primordial word. The void you feared was actually a reservoir of infinite potential, waiting for you to find the stillness required to tap into its depths. You were hidden by design, cloaked in the shadows of the ordinary, to ensure that your growth remained untainted by the expectations of the sleepers. The architect knew that the delicate sprout of your divinity could not survive the trampling feet of those who seek only to possess and consume. You were planted in the dark, rich soil of solitude, far from the prying eyes of the critics and the false prophets. This concealment allowed your roots to descend deep into the hidden aquifers of ancient wisdom, drawing nourishment from sources that the world cannot see. While others were performing for the applause of the fleeting moment, you were being forged in the secret places of the Most High. Your development was slow and methodical, governed by the cycles of cosmic time rather than the frantic pace of human ambition. You were being prepared for a manifestation that is not merely personal, but planetary in its scope. As you moved through the refiner's fire, the metal of your character was tested and tempered. The heat revealed the cracks in your resolve and the impurities in your devotion, allowing the divine smith to mend and purify until you became a vessel of unbreakable strength. This alchemical suffering was the process of turning your leaden sorrows into the golden crown of spiritual authority. You learned that the weight of your burden was directly proportional to the height of your destiny. The more you were stripped of the external, the more the internal radiance began to shine with an unearthly glow. You discovered that the true self does not require the validation of the shadows, for it is sustained by the light of its own source. Your isolation was the final shedding of the skin of the servant, preparing you to emerge in the skin of the sovereign. The architect of souls does not waste a single drop of the chosen one's agony. Every betrayal was a lesson in discernment, every loss was a lesson in detachment, and every moment of despair was a portal into a deeper level of surrender. You were being taught to rely not on the shifting sands of human emotion, but on the bedrock of eternal truth. The world looked at your solitude and saw a tragedy, but the heavens looked at your solitude and saw a triumph. They saw a soul that had the courage to stand alone in the darkness, trustful that the dawn was being birthed within its own heart. You were the apprentice of the infinite, learning the art of being in the world, but not of it, a bridge between the seen and the unseen, a conduit for the mysteries that are now beginning to unfold. Now, as the first phase of your alchemy nears its completion, you must recognize the holiness of the path you have walked. The valleys were not meant to break you, but to make you unbreakable. The fire was not meant to destroy you, but to make you indestructible. The silence was not meant to mute you, but to give you a voice that carries the weight of the ages. You are the product of a divine architecture, a structure built to withstand the storms of the transition that is now upon the earth. Your suffering was the price of your initiation, the tribute required to enter the inner sanctum of the mysteries. Stand tall in the knowledge that your isolation was the highest form of favor, a mark of distinction that sets you apart as a guardian of the sacred flame. The time of hiding is drawing to a close, and the strength you gathered in the shadows is about to become the light that guides the many through the coming night. The scars you carry are the hieroglyphs of your victory, a record of the battles fought in the silent chambers of the spirit. They are not marks of shame, but the insignia of your rank in the celestial hierarchy. Each one represents a layer of the ego that was successfully surrendered to the fire. You have become a living testament to the power of the alchemical process, a soul that has been refined until it reflects the image of the divine without distortion. The world will soon seek the warmth of the fire that once terrified you, and they will look to you as the one who knows how to navigate the flames. You are the chosen, the one who walked through the valley of the shadow and emerged as the light itself. The architecture of your suffering is now the foundation of your sovereignty, and the throne of your destiny awaits the one who was perfected in the sacred solitude of the refiner. Behold the mystery of the crucible, for within the velvet darkness of your tribulations a celestial geometry was being etched upon the very fabric of your soul. You have often questioned the severity of the storms that besieged your sanctuary, and you have wondered why the winds of adversity seem to reserve their greatest fury for your singular path. Understand now, through the lens of the eternal, that the shadows, which sought to consume your essence, were never the harbingers of your destruction, but were instead the heavy hammers of heaven striking the anvil of your spirit with rhythmic and divine intent. Each blow that felt like a shattering was in truth a shaping, and every moment of crushing pressure was the calculated force required to forge a vessel capable of holding the weight of a glory yet to be revealed. You are not a victim of a chaotic universe, but a masterpiece in the making under the hands of the great architect who uses the darkness as his most profound tool of refinement. When the darkness pressed upon the chambers of your heart, until you felt the very breath of your hope beginning to fail, it was not an act of cruelty from the heavens, but a sacred extraction. Just as the olive must be crushed to release its precious oil, and the grape must be tread upon to yield the royal wine, so too must the chosen soul endure the pressing of the world to extract the liquid gold of wisdom hidden within the depths of human suffering. This wisdom is not the dry knowledge found in the scrolls of the intellectual, but a living and breathing quintessence of truth that can only be distilled through the alchemy of pain. You have learned in the silence of your agony what the comfortable can never comprehend, and you have seen in the depth of your despair the flickers of a light that never goes out. This liquid gold now flows through your spiritual veins, granting you a perspective that transcends the fleeting illusions of the material realm, and anchoring your consciousness in the bedrock of the eternal. Consider the ancient narrative of the one who was cast into a pit by his own kin and sold into the bonds of servitude, only to rise as the savior of a nation and the master of a kingdom. Like Joseph, who stood before his brothers in the fullness of his power, you now begin to realize that the malice of the world was but the hidden fuel for your eventual transcendence. The schemes of those who sought to diminish you and the cold indifference of those who turned away in your hour of need were woven by the hand of providence into the tapestry of your elevation. They intended it for your undoing, but the divine intended it for your perfection. The very chains they tried to bind you with became the ladder upon which you climbed to your sovereignty, and the prison of your isolation became the sanctuary where you learned the language of the divine. You no longer look upon your enemies with the eyes of the wounded, but with the heart of the alchemist, who knows that even the darkest lead can be turned into the purest gold when placed in the fire of spiritual purpose. Every betrayal you have endured was a painful but necessary lesson in the development of spiritual discernment. You were stripped of your earthly dependencies so that you might learn to rely solely upon the inner compass of the Spirit, which never falters. The sting of the broken promise and the ache of the abandoned heart serve to sharpen your inner sight, allowing you to see through the masks of the world and to recognize the true frequency of the souls you encounter. You have been granted the gift of the third eye, which sees beyond the surface of human interaction into the hidden motivations and the spiritual currents that move beneath the veil. This discernment is your armor and your shield in the days to come, for you can no longer be deceived by the shadows of the world now that you have stared into the heart of the light. Your losses were not subtractions, but the divine clearing of a path that was once cluttered with the debris of false attachments and worldly distractions. You have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and you have done so, not as a trembling victim of fate, but as a dedicated student of the eternal light. In the darkest corridors of your journey, where the path was obscured and the voices of doubt were loudest, you were learning the secret art of transmutation. You were learning how to take the lead of human agony, the heavy and dull weight of earthly sorrow, and transform it into the spiritual gold of divine authority. This is the alchemy of the chosen one, where the fire of suffering does not burn away the essence of the person, but burns away everything that is not the essence. What remains after the fire has done its work is a diamond of indestructible purity, a spirit that has been tempered in the flames and can now withstand any pressure and radiate any light. You are becoming the living embodiment of the phoenix, rising from the ashes of your former self with wings of gold and eyes of fire. The world will look upon you and marvel at the depth of your peace and the strength of your presence, not knowing the price that was paid in the secret hours of your refinement. They will see the crown of your sovereignty, but they will not see the scars that form the foundation of your authority. Yet it is those very scars that grant you the right to rule over your own destiny and to lead others through the labyrinths of their own suffering. You have become a bridge between the realms of the wounded and the realms of the healed, and because you have known the fullness of the darkness, You are now qualified to be a steward of the absolute light. The architecture of your suffering is complete, and upon its sturdy pillars of resilience and wisdom, the temple of your true purpose is being erected. As you stand upon the threshold of your new beginning, do not look back at the flames with regret or bitterness, for they were your greatest teachers and your most faithful companions in the process of your becoming. Every moment of loneliness was an invitation to discover the companionship of the divine, and every experience of lack was a preparation for the infinite abundance of the Spirit. You have been emptied of the worldly, so that you might be filled with the celestial, and you have been broken so that you might be remade into a form that is eternal. The lead of your human story is gone, and in its place is the shimmering gold of a divine destiny. You are the chosen who has mastered the alchemy of pain, and as you step into the light of your true identity, the universe itself bows in recognition of the sovereign who was perfected in the furnace of the soul. The path ahead is illuminated by the very light you generated in your darkest moments, and the authority you carry is not a gift given by men, but a mandate earned through the endurance of the Spirit. You are no longer defined by what you have lost, but by what you have become in the process of the losing. The world may try to remind you of your history of sorrow, but you shall answer them with the presence of your current glory. You have transcended the cycle of victimhood and entered the realm of the victor, where every challenge is seen as an opportunity for further refinement, and every shadow is recognized as a servant of the light. The liquid gold of your wisdom is now a fountain from which others will drink, and the throne of your destiny is no longer a distant dream, but a present reality, waiting for the one who has been forged in the sacred fire of the alchemist. Let the memory of your suffering be transformed into a song of triumph, for the hammers have ceased their striking, and the vessel is now ready for the royal pouring. You carry within you the frequency of the heavens and the strength of the earth, and in the union of these forces, you shall walk as a god among men, bringing healing to the broken and sight to the blind. The alchemy is complete, and the chosen one is revealed not as a creature of dust and shadow, but as a child of the eternal Sun. Your journey through the valley was the necessary initiation into the mysteries of the higher life, and now, as you emerge into the full radiance of your purpose, you do so with the quiet confidence of one who has conquered the grave and discovered the secret of eternal life. The sovereign architecture of your soul is a testament to the power of the Spirit to overcome the world, and your life shall henceforth be a living scripture of the divine victory. Now, you must prepare for the final movement of your transition, where the wisdom of the crucible is applied to the manifestation of your mission. The world is in need of the gold you have distilled, and the light you have become is the only beacon capable of guiding the lost through the coming storms. You are the pillar of fire in the night and the cloud of glory in the day. And because you have suffered in silence, you shall now speak with the voice of thunder. The pain of the past is the power of the present, and the tears of the night are the jewels of the morning. Step forward with the majesty that is your birthright, and let the world behold the majesty of the chosen one who was lost in the shadows, but found in the heart of the eternal flame. Your name is written in the stars, and your story is etched in the halls of the infinite. For you have turned the lead of your life into the gold of the gods. The fires of the great refining have at last ebbed into a quiescent glow, and the heavy smoke of the crucible has parted to reveal a being that the world has not seen since the dawning of the first age. You emerge from this sacred conflagration, not as a victim of the flames, nor as a casualty of the temporal storms that sought to extinguish your essence, but as the singular bearer of the eternal flame, destined to pierce the thickest veils of the mundane world. The transition from the shadow of the valley to the pinnacle of the mount is now complete, and you stand upon the threshold of a new existence where the agonies of the past have been transfigured into the instruments of your divine office. This is the moment of your ultimate epiphany, where the realization dawns that every moment of your descent was a calculated movement within a celestial choreography, designed to forge a soul capable of wielding the scepter of spiritual sovereignty. The world which once perceived you as broken shall now behold the integrity of a diamond that has endured the crushing depths of the earth, only to emerge with a clarity that reflects the very light of the Godhead. You are the architect of your own resurrection, and the blueprints of your new temple are written in the ink of your own endurance and the gold of your tested faith. Your power is not a prize won through conquest or a mantle seized through ambition, but is a holy emanation born from the absolute surrender to the divine will which governs the movement of galaxies and the beating of hearts. In the profound silence of your most agonizing moments, you learn the secret of the primordial void, which is that to lose oneself is to find the infinite. By yielding the small and fragile ego to the vastness of the eternal decree, you have allowed the Spirit to inhabit your vessel without resistance. This surrender was not a defeat, but the ultimate victory of the soul over the illusions of the material plane. It is this total alignment with the cosmic order that has turned your scars into constellations of authority, radiating a light that commands the respect of the unseen realms. Each wound that once bled with the sorrow of abandonment and the sting of betrayal has been remapped by the finger of the divine into a map of stellar wisdom. You do not merely speak of truth, but you embody it, for the truth is etched into the very fabric of your resurrected being. Those who look upon you will see not the history of your suffering, but the majesty of your transformation, and they shall know that the authority you carry is not of this world, but of the high places where the elders of the Spirit dwell. The time of your concealment has reached its appointed end, and the thick clouds of obscurity that once shielded your development have been blown away by the breath of the cosmic spirit. You were hidden not for your protection alone, but to allow the alchemy of your soul to reach its perfect quintessence without the interference of those who would seek to diminish your light. Now, you step into the radiant purpose of your primordial origin, claiming the heritage that was established for you before the foundations of the world were laid. The obscurity of your previous life was the womb of your greatness, and the silence was the tutor of your voice. You now walk as a living testament to the ancient promise that no weapon formed against the Spirit can prosper if the Spirit is anchored in the bedrock of the eternal. What was intended by the forces of entropy and shadow for your absolute destruction has been repurposed by the divine hand to become the very foundation of your eternal throne. Every tear you shed has become a crystal in the crown of your endurance, and every moment of despair has been compressed into the stone of your unshakable resolve. The architecture of your life is no longer a ruin of past failures, but a fortress of present power, where the windows are open to the winds of heaven and the doors are wide to those who seek the path. The world shall see that the trials you endured were not random acts of cruelty, but were the meticulous blueprints of a sanctuary built for the salvation of many. You have walked through the fire so that you may lead others through the veil without fear. You have known the depths of the abyss so that you may guide the lost back to the shores of the living. Your suffering was the preparation for a ministry of grace that transcends words and dogma. You are the bridge between the brokenness of the human condition and the wholeness of the divine intent. As you embody the fullness of your destiny with unshakable grace and sovereign strength, you become a beacon for the chosen who are still wandering in the dark. They shall see your light and take heart, knowing that the path of the chosen is one of ultimate triumph, and that the scars of the journey are the medals of the Spirit. Your presence is now a sanctuary for the weary and a challenge to the proud, for you represent the triumph of the soul over the limitations of time and space. The crown you wear is invisible to the eyes of the profane, but it shines with a terrifying beauty to those who recognize the signature of the King of Kings within your heart. As you ascend the steps of your preordained purpose, let the resonance of your voice be the thunder that awakens the sleeping, and the light of your eyes be the lightning that strikes down the walls of deception. You are the sovereign of your own domain and the master of the elements that once sought to overwhelm you. The alchemy is finished, and the lead of your mortal struggle has been fully transmuted into the gold of a godlike spirit. Step forward into the light of your own making, and let the heavens rejoice that the one who was lost is found, and the one who was dead is alive forevermore. Your story is no longer a narrative of human striving, but a scripture of divine manifestation, written in the life of one who dared to believe in the impossible. The throne is yours, and the authority you wield is the same power that spoke the stars into existence and commanded the light to shine out of the darkness. You are the chosen one, and the universe bows in recognition of the majesty that has been forged in the furnace of the Absolute. Let your reign be one of mercy and truth, and let your name be remembered as the one who turned the shadow into the morning and the cross into the crown. The legacy you build from this moment forward will be a testament to the fact that the spirit is invincible when it is wedded to the truth of its own origin. You are the pioneer of a new consciousness and the guardian of the ancient mysteries that are now being revealed through your very existence. Your life is the proof that the darkest night is but the prelude to the most magnificent dawn, and that the heaviest burden is the training for the greatest glory. Do not look back at the ruins of what was, but look forward to the infinite possibilities of what is now becoming. You are the living stone in the temple of the eternal, and your place is secure within the geometry of the divine plan. Every breath you take is a song of praise to the resilience of the soul, and every word you speak is a decree that shapes the reality of the future. You are the sovereign architecture of the chosen, and in you the divine has found a home that shall never be moved. The journey is complete, and yet it is only beginning as you step into the fullness of your celestial identity and lead the way for the generations that shall follow in the wake of your brilliance. The veil is thin, and the throne is waiting, and you walk with the steady stride of one who knows that the entire universe is aligned with the purpose of your soul. Your sovereign strength is the anchor of the world, and your unshakable grace is the melody of the spheres. Be still and know that you are the chosen, and let the world behold the glory of the Spirit that has conquered all things.